Pilates, I don't take karate. I'm just running around with my shawty.
Alright everyone, and welcome back. Of course, that was actually pretty cool. We've been here the whole time, so we didn't actually get to see the, like the multiplayer run through and all that. That's actually really fun.
That was pretty funny. I mean, we had the chance to be able to say, delicious donut spotted right here. That's pretty funny. The don't tase me, bro. All of that different types of things. I'm looking out for it. Yeah, hashtag don't tase me, bro. Hashtag BF Hardline.
That's right. That's right. Got to throw that one in there. So, because we love you guys so much, we wanted to do one more match. We love you guys, you know, so we want to give you guys one more match. We want you guys to see Heist one more time. Heist on High Tension. And I think, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, of course, to just talk about this again, Heist, one of the new game types here in Battlefield Hardline, and it is probably one of the most intense because you're trying to get a package and deliver it to one of the extraction points here. Of course, the criminals have 100 tickets to do this. The cops have infinite amount of tickets that they're defending. The criminals got to go to one of the extraction points, grab the package and then take it to either the B or A extraction point. Let's see how they do.
Let's just just dive right in and take a look at what's possible here in this game. I mean, every bit of it. We have like a high action scene. This looks like it would almost come from like a single player, from a campaign type mode, and this is again that multiplayer experience. I think that's one of the craziest things that Battlefield, the brand, has just been all about, and being able to produce just epic moments like these Battlefield moments here.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I'm actually going to see what's going on here and see who's going to try and make some magic happen on the criminal side. So they are going to go after, I believe, the A point there, which is actually right in front of Blast and Brains, and you can see just a bunch of shots going off. But they do have the package. So they do have the package. I believe that's actually going to be alleged metal, if I'm correct. No, that's not alleged metal, but we'll go ahead and hop on board with him in a little bit. And then he can't. Oh,
roadkill!
Poor guy. Blast and Brains. I'm sorry, buddy. You just got destroyed.
You don't need to have a knife, you don't need to have a taser, you don't need to have a weapon, you just need a vehicle to be able to bring out the slaying power, as you saw what happened there. That's one of some of the fun moments that you see. You can you got different types of vehicles. You can see the motorcycle. You've just got so many different bits and pieces, different elements of the game. I mean, that's one of the things that I like about it is the different aspects that go into Battlefield, from whether you're talking about, you can look at it from one side of it. You can look at the classes and talking about the different types that you have there. You can also look at the guns and the different type of weaponry that usually makes a pretty big impact on any type of gameplay.
That's right.
And then you throw in the vehicle aspect of it, and then they talk about now what we see from Battlefield Hardline, the versatility of how vertical everything is too. And just there's just so many different parts, and especially in terms of the gadgets that you can see. I love to see the grappling hook come, as we saw it come back here into the Battlefield Hardline. It's just really fun to watch here.
All right, so one of the packages have been taken over, so they do manage to retrieve it. But let's actually see what's going on over here. Oh, no, that is not good at all. But it's the loot was picked up. Real OG's actually going to be hanging around there, hopping on board with him. He's going to get taken out. The pace is absurd here. As we jump over to Mississippi and having none of that, he's going to try and work with his team here to get this package and distract it. Let's see if they can do it.
That was a great job, though, by their teammates that they only needed one player to go ahead and spawn off of. You saw that squad spawn right there to be able to pick up the objective and to continue down that street. And so they're really trying to make some things happen. Again, we're here on High Tension here in downtown LA, as you can see here from the helicopter pad, and just really getting some really cool things, as you can see. I mean, it's that difference. I mean, you can tell that looking at inside the game, it just feels so real to watching what's possible here, kind of bringing that fantasy into reality here in a video game.
Oh, man, look at the way it's shaking here. Of course, that destruction with the crane falling down, but now Alleged Metal Crew, they're kind of in a precarious position. Zip lining down. No, they're not going to do this. Straight to the extraction point like a boss, and they managed to secure Alleged Metal with the win. Swish.
Nice play by the criminals. Be able to slide right in there, to be able to show off again just the different types of things that you can do. You can just sit there and pop a little grappling hook, climb your way up, send a zip line down, and slide all the way from building to building, as you saw there. I mean, just think about it. It's you know, these moments in time where you're like, man, I wish that I could go ahead and zip line from that building to that building.
Yeah.
And you can.
Now you can. Now you can do it. I mean, of course, it's not something I would do.
I would definitely try to do that.
You would do it?
If I had infinite lives and I knew that I could respawn
Oh, yeah, well,
in real life, if I knew I could respawn in real life, I would definitely zip line down from building to building.
That's cheating the system. but
God mode, brother. God mode.
God mode.
No, not really. Just
unlocked.
kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, man, what a good time here, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it back at home, of course. Criminals just extracting that one real quick, just dominate.
They needed some chance to get some redemption, as we saw a lot of the games went to the cop side, and so there you saw the criminals get the chance to finally come back and to win at least one there. And really what's been great about this, we've had this great experience through and throughout. 32 players behind us that have been joining them, been playing Battlefield Hardline. We're right up on top of a helicopter pad here in a building, and we have downtown LA as a backdrop. What can you ask more of? He's really thinking about the details, and just think if they've got that much passion and trying to put a really good stream together for those of you at home, just think about how much passion they'll put into the game and what they have been putting into the game already. So make sure any comments or concerns or anything like that you really want to get out there, not only explain that, hey, I've got a great idea, or this would be cool. Also explain why, because really that's the beneficial parts whenever you're trying to talk to any type of developer, is like saying, hey, this is a good idea, and that's what you should go with. So
that's right. And of course, this event would not be possible without the sponsors who made it happen. A big thank you to GameStop, as well as Sony PlayStation and AMD. Big thank you to you guys for supporting this absolutely incredible stream. Right, Corey?
It's been ridiculous. And of course, for those of you that want to get your voices heard, make sure you utilize the hashtag BFHardline. Just again, mention as much as possible about it, whether it's, man, I can't believe, did you see that? Don't tase me, bro. Look, I've spotted the delicious donuts, all of those different types of things. Whatever you want to hashtag there on BFHardline. And it's just been a lot of fun, and it's been great to watch. Especially a special thanks to the dev team, Visceral.
That's right.
You guys have been great already. It's already been cool to get the chance to really dive into your game and to just see how passionate they are about it as well.
That's right, guys. So like we said, use social media, hashtag BFHardline. Most importantly, beta's available now on Origin and the PlayStation Network. Go there, download the game. It's been a blast. Corey, any final thoughts?
That's the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to hop directly onto Origin on my PC and go ahead and start to download.
I'll be on PlayStation.
I know you will be. That's why we work so well. I'll be on my PC on Origin and downloading the beta as soon as possible, as soon as I get back home. It's been great though, Alex.
All right, guys. For everyone here, the production team, the players, Corey, myself, it's been an absolute blast to entertain you guys today with Battlefield Hardline. Go and download the beta, and we'll see you on Battlefield Hardline.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Dave Serra, the lead producer of Dawngate. We saw a little preview of Dawngate earlier, and really got a lot of people's attention. So can you tell us a little bit more about the game?
Sure. Before we go into the game, maybe we tell you a little bit about Waystone and who we are and why we're doing this.
Yeah, we have some great people on the team here, so let's take a look.
Cheers. Yeah, I think before we go into the video, I want to give a shout out to our community. You guys are the best, all of our streamers, and the guys of the subreddit. Much love. And to all the people back in the studio. Thanks for making Dawngate.
All right.
Switch over and watch this.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Cool. MOBA, we don't just want to clone. We knew we were coming out of nowhere, and we knew that the people who liked MOBAs were super diehard. We put it in the players' hands at a very early stage, and we were just kind of like, we're going to build this in front of you guys, and whatever you tell us about this, we are going to hear it whether we like it or not.
It's just a constant dialogue with our players, and Dawngate is constantly getting better for it.
MOBA stands for Multi-User Online Battle Arena. For Dawngate, what we've done is broken down the genre to its component parts and built a new game that doesn't just clone the classic MOBA, but builds on it by focusing on a flexible metagame. But the metagame in Dawngate is based around your particular team composition, the roles your team is choosing. So the game is going to play different every single time, allowing you and your team to genuinely try new strategies.
It allows them to basically play any of these characters that they really identify with in any position in the game. When we set out to make Dawngate, really what we wanted was characters who were fighting for a purpose.
All of the characters that you play, the map that you're playing on has been conceived of in a massive epic story arc that's really just kicking off with the players.
Salus, he's a character who I love to play. He's sort of a lizard monk, very zen.
There is a little spirit wisp dude. I love the design of that guy.
Big guys with axes and armor and skulls. I like that a lot. So I like supports, 100% the best. I like making supports and playing supports the best. I really like that we have a whole section of the world that's devoted to badass, bookish nerds. And I like books.
Dude, if you can't geek out about something, I'm probably not going to have a good time hanging out. We built this team specifically to make this game, to make Dawngate. We're a group of hardcore MOBA players, so we knew if we were going to make something awesome for our players, it had to be awesome for us.
So those are your coworkers. That looks like a pretty good community in there.
It's a good bunch of people. You know, we built something really from day zero at Waystone that was really what we wanted it to be. You know, we were actually a team of, I think we were like 17 people when we first started out, and we're just around 50 now. And, you know, we just wanted to keep working together. And the game that a bunch of us had made together had shipped, and we kind of looked at each other and said, well, how can we continue to work together? And so we said, well, let's pitch a game, you know? And we said, well, what do we love? And this is about 2.5 years ago. We said, well, there's this really neat thing happening called MOBA, and right now it's kind of, you know, recreating itself, and we think there's a genre here to explore. So do we think we have what it takes to actually bring something new to the space? And that's really who Waystone is and what we're all about, and it's what Dawngate is.
Well, it's interesting that so many people are choosing to enter the MOBA genre, because originally MOBA was just a game. It was just Dota, and now we have 1,000 different ways to be a MOBA. You know, there's not one way. So, you know, in what ways is Dawngate similar to other MOBAs before we even get into how it's different?
Yeah, totally. Thank you. We never get that question. It always starts out the other side. How is this different? You know? Well, but it's an insightful question, because there are certain things in genre that should stay the same, right? Your player expects them. You don't go make a new shooter, you know, and bind to UGHJ. You're going to go with WASD controls. There are going to be certain conventions, certain things that you just expect as a player. MOBA's no different. You know, so mechanically the game's going to feel very similar to existing games that are out there. Might feel a little closer to one than it does to another, but as a MOBA player, you're going to be able to sit down and go, okay, I understand where everything is, I know where my hands should go, I can just play this game, right? And that extends to, with us, we thought about camera as well. You know, do we want to change the camera? And we decided no. We thought that the top-down view did things for the genre that we just didn't want to move away from. So mechanically, look and feel-wise, Dawngate's going to feel very similar to other games, just like jumping from one shooter or one racing game to another should feel similar. But we do depart in some pretty fundamental ways.
Yeah, I was, you know, getting your hands on this game, looking at it, it does feel very much like you can sit down, you can play it, you know, it does make it feel like it's part of a genre. You know, I understand the genre, I understand this game, but you brought in some elements that really put a lot more control, I think, in the hands of the players. So can you tell me a little bit what you did with the Shapers, who are the avatars that you play in the game?
Sure, yeah. Fundamentally, you know, and I want to get into lore a little bit later, you know, but lore is a big deal for us. We wanted to make sure that every Shaper played and felt completely unique. But from an early place in design, we said, well, what are we going to do to the overall design of what a MOBA is to help us to explore some of these design ideas? So we did things early on, like we removed mana as a resource, right? And actually for a lot of the hardcore players inside the studio, we were like, oh no, this is never going to work. How can you possibly do this? You're removing all of this incredible gameplay. And we tested it with hardcore MOBA players like us. And we said, what do you guys think of this? And they said, no, that's a terrible idea. That's trash. Get that out of here. And so then we said, okay, play this game. And they go in and they play the game. And we said, what do you think of that game? And they're like, wow, I loved how like I was always in the fight and I could just use my abilities and it was great and I felt like it was so fast paced. They never once said, God, I really miss mana.
See, now you've taken out mono. What did you replace it with?
You know, so we do want to keep skill cap high for shaper design. So not all of the shapers have specific resources that are specific to them. So Reyna, she's a big old tank. She's awesome. She uses discipline. Freya, she uses a rage mechanic. So those mechanics are there. But basically, we said with this game, how can we kind of make some changes that remove some of the taxes that, you know, just are kind of holdovers from other designs. So that's one thing. But all of that kind of leads toward something we call the role system, right? And so the role system in Dawngate, basically at the design level, it breaks the math of how your character makes your money and scales through the game off of the design of the shaper itself, and it puts it onto a role. So when you play a game of Dawngate, you go into your shaper select, and it says, hey, who are you going to play? And you play the shaper you want to play. And they say, well, what role are you going to play here? And then you say, okay, well, I really like the micro of last hitting. I like that gameplay. It's fun for me. Take the gladiator role. That's going to allow you to then go last hit and get bonuses that I, as a tactician, am not going to get if I'm last hitting.
So before you even, you know, get into the level of a game like League of Legends or Dota, where you're primarily constructing your character just off the items that you put on them.
Right.
You're actually putting another step in here where you choose your shaper and then you're choosing how they approach the game and even earn that gold to get those items.
You got it. And the idea is, you know, we're actually trying to remove a level of complexity from you without sacrificing any depth. And, you know, our current kind of marketing tagline is this notion of break the meta, create a flexible meta. This is what we're really trying to do. You know, and I'll cop to it. Our game's still in beta. We're not done with this. We're still working on this. I think we're probably 70-80% of the way there. But the goal is that any of these roles can be played by any of the shapers so that you don't have that experience of, you know, I want to play this shaper tonight. Oh, crap, that guy locked in the support shaper or whatever it is. No, okay, I can't play that.
So you save that argument for once everyone's in the game, right?
Fair enough, you know, fair enough.
Well, I assume you still want a distribution of, you know, your jungles and your gladiators and your range.
You know, and that's where we're not fully coming through with the promise of the break the meta yet. And we've got some stuff teased for the community, the active players. We've got some stuff internally that we've been working on with the roles and the way that they're scaling that does look like it's truly fulfilling that promise, but we're not there yet. There are kind of some accepted, you know, kind of mini metas that are starting to spring up. So.
Sure, and going into that, I mean, one of the things that I found really refreshing about this game is we were talking about the economy and the way that, you know, traditionally you just kind of earn gold over time a lot of the times in MOBA, and what you're actually taking in Dawngate is you're placing that visually on the map in a way that can be disrupted or augmented by the players.
That's exactly right. So if you look at the Dawngate map, kind of top down, looking at it, you go, okay, yeah, it's a MOBA, I get it. And then you notice, wait, there are only 2 lanes on this map. There are these kind of 4 circles in the, you know, the cardinal corners, and then there's this huge jungle in between. And basically what these 2 lanes and these spirit wells, these big jungles do is they open up all different kinds of strategies. And kind of key to these strategies are these spirit wells that you were talking about. They're resource nodes. So if you're, you know, StarCraft player, they're like, you know, Crystal or Vespian Geyser, you know, resources, they're mines, they're money source. And they're global. So your entire team is getting this. And over time, they spawn little workers, cute little guys that are like, yep, we're doing the job for you, boss, no problem. Thing is, you can go and attack your enemy's workers. About 15 minutes into the game, these wells will unlock. And at that point, you can actually go and steal the wells from your opponent. And like you said, we're trying to put the economy on the map so that at a glance you can say, all right, that's the state of the global economy, right? Not necessarily the player-based economy, the individual's economy. Maybe somebody's still fed and is carrying hard. And we don't want to take that away from the players because that feels good. But putting the economy onto the map just kind of mixes it up, reduces a barrier to entry without removing any depth, right? And it actually allows us to do things that we like in other MOBAs that are often criticized as too hardcore, like economy denial, right? We've pulled that out of the lane, but you can still go to your enemy's spirit well and basically harass their economy.
Right, so you're not killing your own mobs in front of them and denying them the gold. You're going to their gold well and you're killing all their mobs.
Correct, exactly. And so, you know, something that's immediately communicable to any player of any skill level. Okay, he's attacking my well. I got to do something about that or not. Maybe I can't. But I understand what's going on, as opposed to that feeling of, why does this guy keep killing me in lane? I don't know. You know, he's denying you your creep kill. So.
Well, I think what's interesting about that is not only does it put the economy on the map visually, but it creates another fighting point. And that seems to be something that really drives the narratives of these MOBA games is when they fight, when these teams fight, and where they fight, and what they're fighting over, what's at stake. And another thing you added to the map right at the center is the parasite.
The parasite, yeah. You know, and actually behind your question is something that's really important for us from a design philosophy. There's this notion of PvP versus PvE, and Dawngate is a PvP game. Everything we're doing is about PvP. So when we think about objectives like the Spirit Wells and the parasite, it's all about forcing team fights to happen. Same thing with the Guardian at the base, which we can talk about in a little bit. So that parasite in the middle of the map, he's a scaling objective. When you first start the match, he's kind of a little dude. He'll do some damage. You can probably solo him if you want to really give it a shot. Definitely take him down with a couple. And over the course of the game, he's got 3 stages of evolution, and he gets more powerful, he's worth more, and he has new abilities. And basically what happens is you take him down, and he will level up minions in lane, and basically turn one of those minions into a super minion that's going to help your lanes push. So not only is he an incredibly important strategic objective, you know, from a gold and a buff standpoint, but he's also affecting how the map is going to play out. Because of that, Dawngate players learn really quickly, I need to keep my eye on Parasite. And that, of course, goes back to a PvE objective forcing a PvP conflict.
Right, so you're going to have to see players with great map awareness and
absolutely.
also a lot of teamwork
Absolutely.
seems to be a big focus here. You were telling me before about how you guys are going to deal with one of the biggest problems in MOBA, which is kind of the rough community. It drives a lot of players away. It's a game that requires teamwork. And what we've seen over and over again is people trying to punish people that are doing these bad things. But you guys are taking a really interesting take on it, a psychology-approved take, I think.
Psychology-approved, ding!
This is, and it has research behind it.
That's right, that's right. Well, there is actually a lot of thought that's gone into this design, and there are some psychological concepts. Basically, we're trying to reward and encourage positive behavior as opposed to being punitive and punishing negative behavior. And you and I are both old-school FPS players, so, you know, it's just competitive games, blood boils, you get really into it, you know, it's sometimes hard to, you know, be a good sport. I think that's different than the toxicity that we often see in these communities. Not limited to MOBA, but definitely a problem within MOBA communities or a challenge. So what we've done is there's, you know, our way of rewarding the player at the end of the game is you get a loot drop. And there could be, you know, some earned currency. We've got a metagame that's based on these things called Spirit Stones and Sparks. So you could get those. That's like getting money, you know. If you get way up at the top tier, that loot drop, that little spirit you saw in that video, he'll actually come to you and go like, here you go.
Oh, wow.
And he gives you really cool stuff. Maybe even an entire shaper could get unlocked. So that's like cash money, right? Well, that system is governed by a variety of different contributing factors, one of which is karma. So at the end of every game, you get a karma vote. Only up, never down. Again, never punitive. And you can cast them for your friends. You can cast them for the people on the other team. If you just dish your karma votes out like candy, that's great. They're still worth something, but they'll be less than if you hoard them. If you give a karma vote to an enemy, that's worth more than for a friend. And that will help push your loot roll up. And so it's working so far. You know, I mean, I'll cop to it. I have no idea how this is going to scale as we continue to bring Dawngate out and get more and more people into the game. But right now, you'll see people very often, you know, kind of make a little bit of a comment about karma. You know, somebody's raging in chat, you know, and at the end of the game,
you're
karma
not
for
going
all.
to get my vote.
Pretty much, you know, and it kind of, you know, as soon as people see it, it's like, hey, you know, no need to be a jerk. Don't forget that karma vote at the end of the game. And I've seen it. I've been in games where that has just quelled people immediately because we've tied it to something tangible.
Absolutely.
This is value we're giving you, and you could get more of it if you're just not a dick. You know?
I mean, you can earn double time in games because I guess you're going to earn some game currency every game you play to put towards shapers, to put towards skins. But now when you're a good person, you're making double the money.
That's right.
So that's
cool.
a wonderful metric there. I really like that. Is there any aspect of the gameplay that maybe we haven't touched on yet that you think is a little more standout?
You know, I think that the last big thing that's just completely different in Dawngate, from especially in the top-down MOBAs, is kind of the final fight, the Guardian fight. So rather than a static object, again, a bunch of us are old-school MMO players, and we're like, how can we get raid bosses in here, you know? But again, it goes back to that notion of PvE, right? This is not a PvE game. This is a PvP game. And so the end of the game, you know, kind of the third phase of the game in Dawngate is invading this base. And basically, this huge Guardian, he's got 5 different abilities, and they're all driven by AI, right? And they're all designed to get the enemy team
to do aberrant behavior based on what they're doing. So if you're all grouping together, he'll shoot this big line of fire in the middle, just try to peel one of you guys, right? And give the guys who are defending a chance. He's defended by these 5 cores, each of which is tied to an ability. So you start taking down his cores, you're taking his abilities away from him, and after all 5 are gone, his shield drops, now you can attack him and win the game.
So you're fighting him, you're fighting the enemy team, you're taking away his abilities. That sounds like a big way to go out at the end of a game, which is usually really, a quiet time. A lot of times you see a static Guardian, a static Nexus at the end, and I think that adds an element of excitement there.
And it gives an opportunity as well to, it's an affordance for comebacks, right? If a game should end, then let's have the game end, right? And that doesn't always feel good if you're on the losing team, but better that the game ends sooner if it's inevitable, rather than go on for 70 minutes if it's inevitable, right?
Because even when you win those, it doesn't feel as good.
No. And you're in chat apologizing to the team, sorry guys, So that is still there, but it's mechanics like this, and there are a few others in the game as well that kind of create affordances for comebacks. If you can take advantage, you can get yourself back into the game. So.
Well, the other thing you guys are doing that I think is phenomenal is your changeable lore. You're writing the lore of the Shapers as the game continues. I think you actually just launched this, right?
We did today. Yeah, like 3 or 4 hours ago. The community's already arguing and trying to convince one another, like, hey, let's vote this way, vote that way. But this is one that goes back. It's pretty personal for a lot of people on the team because, I'm an English major. So is our creative director. We're like story nerds, right? And we love it. But we're also competitive gamers. So we're like, well, how can we get these two things to come together? Because we love them both. Surely other people love them. Are we right about this? So we went out. We actually asked over 1,000 active mobile players in North America and in Germany, what games are you guys playing? Because we don't want to lead them with the question. And they basically, like 70% of them are also playing story-driven MMOs, RPGs, RTSs. So these need states are in each of us as gamers. We like